How many times have you said yes when every part of you was screaming no? Maybe it was to keep the peace, avoid guilt, or because you didn't want to seem selfish. But here's the truth. Every time you betray your own boundaries, you chip away at your self-love. So today, we're talking about the power of reclaiming your no, why it's not selfish, why it's absolutely necessary, and how to stand firm without feeling guilt or having to apologize. See, if you've ever struggled to hold your ground, this episode is your permission slip to put yourself back on your own priority list. So welcome back, Uplifting Life Partners, to Simplified Uplifters Marriage Mastery Podcast, where we're cultivating extraordinary connections. The podcast dedicated to giving you the tools to build, repair, and strengthen the foundation of your relationship so you can have a stronger, more joyful, and resilient marriage. I'm your host, Ron Simplified Myers. Let's ignite possibilities together. Well, this is our Self-Love Wednesday episode, and today we're diving into the topic of reclaiming your no. If you've ever felt guilty, anxious, or even apologetic for setting boundaries, this episode is for you. Again, we're going to break down why saying no is an act of self-love, share how to hold your ground, and give you some practical words for home, at work, and in your marriage. So grab your tea, your coffee, your donuts, but get cozy, and let's get into it. So most of us, especially women, they were raised to be agreeable, helpful, and self-sacrificing. You notice I said raised. I teach and believe it's not how men and women are, as most people continue to teach. It's how we're raised. That culture we come from. Okay, let me stop there. That's a whole nother topic. Let me not get sidetracked here. But society, it often rewards us for saying yes, even when it costs us our peace and our own well-being. Did you know that women apologize up to 30% more than men? Now, that was actually shocking to me when I saw it. I had no idea. And to be honest with you, I actually would have thought it was higher because most men don't apologize. From what I've recognized in most cultural training, women have been conditioned to smooth things out. Keep the peace, not rock the boat. Now, for men, apologizing has historically been framed as weakness. So many are taught to just brush it off and keep moving on. But neither extreme really serves us well, though. A healthy apology should come from an accountability, not guilt. And learning when not to apologize is just as important. That's why reclaiming our no is so powerful. It's about honoring ourselves without carrying unnecessary shame. See, we've been conditioned to feel responsible for others' comfort. But every time you say yes when you mean no, you betray your own needs. And that builds resentment and burnout. So here's an example. Let's see if this sounds familiar. Simone's friend asked her to help her with a big project she was working on, probably moving. But honestly, Simone was exhausted. She just finished a heavy week. She needed rest. And she had things in her own life that were piling up. But she didn't want to disappoint her friend. So you know what she did? She said yes. And what ended up happening? Simone showed up tired, frustrated, and half present. The project didn't go as smoothly as hoped for, and afterwards, Simone felt resentment. Not at her friend, but at herself for not honoring her own limits. That experience taught her a very powerful lesson. That when she says yes out of guilt, she's not giving her best to them or herself. See, a true healthy yes, it only comes when it's rooted in honesty, not obligation. So the key takeaway from this story is guilt is not a signal you're wrong. It's a sign you're breaking old patterns. So let's look at this from a different perspective. Saying no isn't rejection, it's protection. Just as we've spoken about in the past, boundaries, they're not barriers, they're bridges to healthier relationships. So when you say no to what drains you, you say yes to what matters most. Now here's something I want you to visualize. Your energy it's like a bank account. Every yes is a withdrawal. So if you never say no, you go bankrupt. So here's an affirmation that you may want to use. My needs are valid. My no is enough. Let me repeat that. My needs are valid. My no is enough. That statement is a realization that we must learn to live by. We do not have to justify our no. It is enough. Now, unless you talk to your partner, you might have to break this rule at times because we do want to keep peace in our home. So let's move into the area of the 5 pillars of guilt-free boundaries. Number 1, know your non-negotiables. What are your values and priorities? Make a list. Here's an example. Family dinners are sacred, or I need one night a week for myself. Number 2, the power pause. Don't answer requests immediately. Say, let me check my calendar and get back to you. This gives you space to decide if it's a true yes. Number 3, clear, compassionate communication. Practice this phrase. I can't take that on right now. And no apology needed. You don't owe anyone a lengthy explanation. Number 4, expect pushback. People who benefited from your lack of boundaries, yes, they're probably going to resist. Your no is going to cause them to feel discomfort. Why? Because they're accustomed to you always saying yes. But remember this, their discomfort, it's not your emergency. Number 5, replace guilt with compassion. When guilt arises, remind yourself, I am responsible for my energy, not everyone else's happiness. That's huge. Because see, most people have good hearts and we want to do what's right. Unfortunately, we mistake right as doing only for others without any regard for our own well-being. And here's a quick tip. This does not mean you only think about yourself when you make decisions without any concern for others. I only bring this up because there are those that all their decisions about themselves. And trust me when I say this, there will come a time when you will need others and they will remember that you only think about yourself. And you guys know the difference on what is actually being said here. Now, if you're anything like me, I know you want to see this information in action. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you 4 different scenarios. Number 1, at work. The boss comes to you and says, can you take on this new assignment? It's a quick turnaround. I appreciate you trusting me with it. I'm at capacity right now and want to give my best to my current projects. Could we look at redistributing a set a later timeline? I get it. You've got a lot on your plate. Let's see who else can step in. Thank you. I'll stay focused on finishing strong with what I already have. Number 2, with their family. Your sibling asks, and I know you guys have heard and can relate to this one. Can you watch the kids this weekend? We really need you. I love you, but I can't take that on right now. I want to support you in other ways though. Maybe I can help brainstorm options. I was really counting on you. I understand. And I wish I could do this. Let's think of someone else who could step in. I'll even help you make a few calls. How about number 3? You got friends. The friend that calls and says, we're all going out on Friday. Come on, you have to be there. This sounds fun, but I'm not able to join this time. I'd love to catch up another day. How about coffee next week? You're no fun, but yeah, coffee sounds good. Deal. I'll treat. Looking forward to some real one-on-one time. How about number 4? Your partner. They come up to you and they say, you want to hang out tonight? Maybe watch a movie? I'd love to, but I need some solo time to recharge tonight. Let's reconnect tomorrow. I want to be fully present with you then. Okay, I get that. You want me to bring dinner tomorrow? That would be perfect. I'll be rested and ready to enjoy it with you. So here's a tip. Silence is powerful. Say your no and let it land. Now, I know some of you are thinking, yeah, I wish my conversations would go that smooth. Folks, with practice, they will. Now, we will move toward building our boundary muscles. Okay, here's the truth. You don't walk into a gym and bench press 200 pounds on day one. You start small. You practice. And then you get stronger. The same goes for saying no. If you've been a lifelong people pleaser or someone who feels guilty setting limits, it's going to feel uncomfortable at first. And that's okay. It means you're stretching a new muscle. The same way as I mentioned about your conversations, the more you practice, the smoother the conversations will be. So how do you start building that boundary muscle? Here's the first step. Start small. Don't wait until the biggest, hardest situation comes up to try it. Practice in the small, everyday moments. Like when the telemarketer calls, decline politely instead of stand on the line out of obligation. Skip a meeting that you know doesn't really need you. Or say no to dessert when you don't want it. Yes, even that counts. Every time you do one of those small acts, you're proving to yourself that you can say no, that you can hold the line. And guess what? The world doesn't fall apart. This reminds me of a story that was being shared where the first time this woman told her boss she couldn't stay late, she said her voice actually shook. She felt like she was doing something wrong, but she said it anyway. And guess what? He said, okay, no problem. She went home that night proud of herself and she started telling everybody no. You guys know that's not what really happened. But that tiny win made it so much easier the next time. So that brings us to the second step. Celebrate every single win, every boundary you hold, no matter how small. It's progress. Did you wait to answer a text instead of feeling pressured to respond right away? Celebrate it. Did you ask for space instead of stuffing down your feelings? Celebrate it. Think of it like weightlifting. Every rep matters, not just the heavy ones. The more you notice and affirm yourself, the stronger you get. Now, I want to give you a journal entry to take this deeper. Write this question at the top of the page. Where do I feel resentment? What no am I not saying? Here's why that matters. Resentment is often a clue that a boundary has been crossed or ignored. If you're feeling drained, stretched, too thin, or secretly annoyed with someone, chances are there's a no hiding in there. Just writing it down helps you see the patterns. You don't even have to act on it today. The awareness alone is powerful. So here's your encouragement. Start small. Celebrate the wins. Keep practicing. Boundaries aren't about shutting people out. They're about keeping yourself whole. And the more you work that muscle, the stronger, freer, and more loving you'll become. Not just to yourself, but to everyone around you. So as we close, realize that your no is sacred. It protects your peace, your time, your joy. And again, you don't owe anyone an apology for honoring yourself. And then imagine the ripple effect. When you set boundaries, the model you set for self-respect for your kids, your friends, and your partner. So here's an action step. Pick one area this week to practice your no. Then contact us on the Facebook page and share your wins. The information for the page is in the bio. Folks, we'll be back next week for another Self-Love Wednesday episode. Remember to visit the Simplified Uplifters Marriage Mastery podcast Facebook page where you can communicate with us in a much more personal way, which I know you're already going over there because you're going to share your wins, right? Right. And for more exclusive training, the deeper dives, our actual app, our clothing apparel, we've placed all that information in the bio of the podcast. Or visit the website, simplifieduplifters.net. And if you found value in today's episode, we would appreciate you sharing this one and the podcast itself with those that you know need to hear this message. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the podcast. And so you don't miss out on our upcoming Marriage Builder Sunday episode, well, we'll explore how these individual strengths They come together to create an unbreakable bond. I want to thank you again for joining me on this transformative self-love Wednesday. Until next time, nurture your soul, protect your energy, be kind to yourself, and build the marriage of your dreams. Most important, remember your power. You are extraordinary.